me the man a little hat. That's the stress facts on it. All right.
It was a valid question, right?
You know what's up?
Yeah, you know what's up?
Give him a little t-shirt that says straight facts.
Straight facts?
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you being receptive to the request. There we go. There we go.
Straight facts.
Back at it again. You already know your man Sosa in the building.
Yes, sir. That's my man right there. You got your boy Ace right here, and we got none but other Andres. Andres. Okay, yeah, Andres. Yeah. Nice. Thanks for coming on the show, bro. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, I know you on shows like, you know, F is for Family, right? Adam Ruins Everything.
Yeah.
You know, America the Motion Picture. It's an honor, you know, because we don't really, you're diversifying the show, and I think a lot of people would, you know, love to hear what you have to say, you know.
For sure. Okay, so F is for Family. That was actually my first show in the industry.
And what platform is it on?
It's on Netflix. I think it's still on Netflix. Yeah, so I started as an animator. Well, I'm still an animator, but I played a few other roles during my career. And that was probably the hardest job ever.
Right.
Because I was very green, you know, just straight out of school. I was still in school. It was during my second year of my 3-year program in college.
Right. You're a fresh rookie.
Yeah.
Sitting like 90 years.
I was just struggling to stay, you know, to meet my deadlines. Because that's the thing. You have these weekly or bi-weekly deadlines that you gotta meet every single week.
For sure. We're gonna get deeper into that further in the interview, you know. But that's very good.
Definitely. So give us a bit of your story of your background before you became an animator. How did you get into?
Well, I'm originally from Mexico. So when I was 15, I moved here to Ottawa, and then I finished my high school. I did grade 10 to 12. And I always liked drawing a lot. I think that's what got me into the field. And I was really scared of like working at an office, just like suit and tie kind of place. That was like my main no-no. And so I'm happy that we moved to Canada, because honestly in Mexico I didn't see art as an actual opportunity to make income. So I decided to check out all the art programs. I went to different open houses, universities, colleges, and
local, or you went like across?
I went in Toronto. I went to Sudbury. I went Carleton, Ottawa U here. And then I think what hooked me was Algonquin College, and it was not so much the program itself of animation, because I was looking at illustration this, design that. And it was the portfolio of the students. When I saw the portfolio of the students, it was very impressive what they could achieve, because I could see their, you know, you have to submit a portfolio to get in, and then I see what they started versus what they accomplished at the end of the program. So it seemed like a very huge skill gap. And I was like, I don't care what animation is, but if at the end of the program I can draw like that or close to that, then I'm in. So I just decided to try, and me and my buddy was interested too, so we just did a bunch of drawings over the summer trying to get better, and luckily we got approved.
That's actually good, so you got the opportunity to really refine your skills eventually.
Exactly.
So it's a good thing that you know, you essentially pursued drawing, because it feels that you've been essentially you've been drawing since you've been a kid. So,
but in college, that's when I really learned. Like more technical, I guess.
Yeah, I would imagine. Amazing. Is there any formal sense of education essential for someone aspiring to become an animator overall?
You have to have a certain amount of, I guess, drawing skills, or just more than anything, be able to, if you're doing 2D, which is what I do 3D and 3D. I do 2D animation, but there's also 3D. Perhaps in 3D you may not need that knowledge as much, but I guess everyone who draws is able to picture to a degree the form in 3 dimensions.
Yeah.
So you know what's behind the character and how it looks, and that's how you're able to draw it. It's not, you don't see it as flat. You draw it flat, but you see it as 3-dimensional.
Makes sense.
Depth to it. So I think that's what you need first if you want to do 2D. And then the other one would be to make it flow once you're actually animated.
Right.
To make your animation flow and look smooth. Just make it look pretty, I guess. Don't make it jittery, stuff like that.
Right.
So you don't really need school. It's just school. It's a lot easier because you learn a lot faster.
Yeah. Structure.
It's hard to push yourself, to draw every day or animate every day to get to the standard that you need to get your first job.
Right. Yeah. Now, when you got out the machine, school, what was your first job in the industry?
In the industry was FS for Family for this studio called Big Jump.
Okay.
They're still here in Ottawa.
They're based out of Ottawa?
Yeah. There is a lot of studios in
Ottawa. Are they all
Yeah.
Canada in the West? In the tech park?
I can't remember where they're located, but like they were in Home Club at some point.
Okay, in the South.
And there is a couple other studios there. There is Mercury Filmworks, which they do Disney Channel stuff. Yeah. There is Jamfil, which they do Nickelodeon stuff.
Wow.
And,
all in Ottawa.
Yeah. Big Jump was mainly primetime shows like FS for Family and things like that.
Right.
Teenager.
And then what job you were doing there? Like you were an animator?
Straight up an animator.
Straight up, like here it is.
So I was I got my job through a professor in school. He recommended me. He saw my work and he said like, oh, you should work for us, because he was still in the industry. And I think that's one of the lucky breaks that I got. That in my program, the teachers were still connected with the industry.
I was going to say, would you consider it your first big break eventually?
Definitely, for sure, yeah, essentially. So then what you do is sometimes you have to show them a portfolio. In my case, it was just word of mouth. The guy said like, oh no, he's good.
Right.
So all I had to do was to prove it. So they give you an animation test. So they give you a storyboard that you have to follow, the software, and then you have to animate. You get a full day to animate, sometimes less. And depends on how well you do within that time frame is whether they hire you or not.
And in that story, like, it's very interesting. In that story they gave you, like, is there like instructions on what the environment should be, or is it literally like
you're on your own?
Yeah, exactly.
No, there is instructions to what to do. You gotta get from point A to B. It's how you get from point A to B that is up to you. That's where you come in. So all you see is you can hear the sound of the little 5-10 seconds that you gotta animate, and then you see like 2 pictures of the character, let's say going like this and then this. So it's in there on how you get there and how much you do with it.
So they give you some type of a backbone,
like a storyboard.
Yeah, right. A storyboard. Yeah. So a few illustrations, sketches of more or less what the character needs to do.
Right.
The background is for the most part already there. You just get this puppet and you manipulate it, move it around.
Right. And that professor who actually referred you, would you consider him a mentor of yours? How did that relationship evolve? In the classroom?
For sure. So when I took the program, it was mostly focused on traditional animation, which is
no computers?
No computers, pencil and paper. You draw frame by frame.
Right, Dragon Ball Z days.
Yeah, and then you take pictures of the whole thing. It's like a stack of papers this big, and then you get like 5 seconds of animation. Right. And then you get to see it, and that was mostly it.
Hold on, for 5 seconds of animation, how big is the stack originally?
It's a lot. It's like, honestly, we were going through papers and papers. Because you don't get it right the first time. So that professor, he was showing how to use the software that we actually use in the industry. And I remember one of my colleagues who was a year ahead of me, she told me, it's like, I know these are your core courses, like the traditional animation courses, but you guys should put more time into learning the actual software, because sure, you can get all the drawing skills and learn animation just doing it traditionally, but once you get into the studio, if you don't know how to work the software around, you're gonna fall behind. So just put a little more effort on that. So I did. I started, rebalancing my courses. So I put more effort into that. and I guess he noticed that I was getting really ambitious with my projects.
Yes.
Then I think it was that he recommended me.
That really gave you.
It's an amazing lesson.
What would you consider the best advice that you've been given as an animator overall?
As an animator, it's hard to say. I think one of them is that you're never gonna be the best, so like try not to.
Is that only for animators?
For everything, just, like some people's ego may get in the way. Another one is to be very comfortable with criticism, to be open for suggestions, because otherwise you're gonna stay at the same level, or you're never really gonna improve. The way you improve faster is just to get that criticism and take it seriously.
Just really take it in.
Yeah, because some people were scared of showing their work. They're like, oh, I don't want to, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of like an artist, like I don't want to drop my release. I don't want to drop my release, right?
Yeah. Or some people take it negatively and they get mad. It's like, oh, the supervisor didn't like this.
Right.
Yeah, not everyone can handle criticism the same way, right?
Exactly.
So that is a big factor. What would you consider as the best part of your job?
The best part is definitely that I don't have to wear a suit and tie.
Sorry, 9-to-5ers.
It's right now I'm working from home, but I started working in studio, and it's I mean, despite of the stress of the actual work, like the colleagues are very relaxed. Your bosses are very relaxed for the most part. You can. You know, they don't have cubicles, it's like open. You can talk to your friends, they, you know, everyone, it's a bunch of nerds out there, including myself. So everyone is into cartoons, into superheroes, comics, gaming. They have their D&D nights once a week, or like, they have, there's this new animation movie coming out, let's all see it together. So I like that a lot. I like the fact that I can listen to a podcast or music while working. I don't need to be super focused. I'm not doing math, right? So I'm just like moving around.
We talked about, you know, I did a joke about 9 to 5, but it brings me to this question actually, like, do you actually work 9 to 5, or like, is it more like, do you like more like work like whenever you want, like you're taking a shit in the morning, like animating shit, like what's going on with that?
I try to stay a 9 to 5, because if I don't, then you know my
it
gets out of hand very quickly. For the most part, all the supervisors or your boss cares about is that you can finish your work on time and it's to the quality that it needs to be. That's really all. So it can be pretty relaxed. When I started, I was definitely not doing 9 to 5. I was doing 60 hours every week.
So there's some it was challenging to balance work life, right? Outside of balancing work life, you know, what would be other skills that you would recommend someone gets to be a good animator, or what skills are necessary or required to be a good animator?
To be a good animator, what skills? I think just to I guess to have a good critical eye. If you like, if you're drawing or creating something, most people, or I'd say good artists, they don't say like, oh, this is great, it's perfect. Most artists is like, I don't like this, I don't like that, despite other people telling you, no, it's really good. It's like, yeah, but I made a mistake here. So I think having a critical eye like that, it's good, but also to not let you that overcome, screw you up with your deadlines and stuff.
Maybe a perfectionist, but 98%.
Be a perfectionist, but also know that you still have to deliver a product on time, and so do not let your perfectionism get in the way of your deadlines. Because I saw some people getting fired or falling behind because they were too focused on making this piece perfect, but you know, we don't have one animator. We have many animators, and each animator does like 10 to 30 seconds every week. So
is that how it works?
Yeah.
Okay.
What would you consider the most challenging project you've worked on?
Definitely Office of Family. The first season, just because I was so green, and because we had a lot of I guess struggles during it that we did not consider. Second season went a little smoother because we kind of had already
So was
sold
the
those.
first season?
Yeah, so the first season I think that was the hardest.
Right.
Yeah, we went through a lot. Yeah, like I remember they were trying to get us to change the backgrounds a lot. So much that in the second, we did our backgrounds in Photoshop. And in the second season, they vectorized all the backgrounds. And so I don't know if you know what that is.
For the viewers, kind of dumb it down, you know?
Yeah.
So basically, like you went from using one software that had a certain type of formatting to another software which had vector formatting.
Yeah, it just made editing easier.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I had to break it down. Yeah, things like that.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
And at some point we didn't have enough workers, you know. So like we all had to like take more.
Take more responsibility.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It happens.
So everybody kind of takes responsibility for the project as a whole. It's not like here's my part. It's a whole project.
Yeah. So and when you finish something, you can help another person.
Interesting.
It's a whole team, right?
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Could you share with us your best story about working in the animation industry?
I don't know about that.
The best story.
Which famous person did you meet?
Yeah, so I met Bill Burr during the first season as well.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. At I think it's cool, but it's also a little uneventful because at the
Who's
time.
Bill Burr? Like Bill Burr's
the comedian.
Oh yeah. He's a podcaster too, right? Yes.
Pretty funny guy, actually.
Yeah, at the time, like I knew about him, but I hadn't really checked him out. So, you know, I just said hi. I took the group picture. I went back to my desk, trying to meet my deadline because I'm like,
is he Canadian or American?
I was super focused. He's American.
Yeah. Go on.
And then I got into his podcast and his comedy, and I was like, oh, I wish I could have taken more pictures with him because he was signing work. And
You're like, who's that guy?
Yeah, it's like, that's.
I'm telling you, he's a good comedian.
I'm missing out.
He's pretty funny.
He voices.
I just think clips like here and there, like he's a white guy, right?
Making fun of the WNBA because.
Oh yeah. That's the guy who did that too. Yeah.
People were going around asking around like, would you rather go to a WNBA game or have?
He's the one who did that interview too. In the streets, eh?
Yeah. He's a funny guy. That's all I'll say.
Interesting. Talk about the industry. Like, are there any industry trends, you know, that are changing the nature of the industry that are changing the industry of animation?
I don't know. I think since I've started, for the most part, it stayed the same. I think the biggest change, at least in the Ottawa area, is that I noticed is that it went from freelance work into salary based.
Yes.
So before there was, you know, 80% freelance and then like 20% salary, and now it's just like mostly salary work. I think it was mainly because a studio from Toronto came to Ottawa and they had salaries and everyone was like, I want salary, and then everyone around it is like, okay, we need to make salary.
Would you say, actually, it brings me up to this question, would you say it's I mean, it seems like a very niche or maybe like a very skillful position to have. You need a lot of skills. So like, would you say that like the competition for talent is heavy within you know, these big companies? Within Canada to US, if you have any idea?
I think no. There's you'd be surprised. There is a lot of demands for animators right now, and it's only been increasing.
Are they finding them?
Yeah, like I got just on my LinkedIn, I get like 1 to 3 job offers every year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, are you coming off a contract? Or,
right.
We're working on this show. I actually just declined one today because I just started a new contract. So most of the work is contract based. You sign up for could be 3 months, could be 6 months, could be a year. So there is a lot of demand, and yes, I don't think there is enough animators, to be honest. I think we need more, and because of that, you know, I guess the standard gets a little lower for approval. If there's a lot of animators, then only the best ones get in. If not, they can lower the standard a little bit, welcome them, train them, and then get them to the standard.
Overall. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Now let's switch it up a little. You know, I see some a lot, and I've been watching a lot of his show, Fairness Vegas. The future of animation is
probably 3D. I think so. well, I don't know. I don't think 2D will ever die. I think there will always be 2D. But I feel like most of the big projects is 3D work, because I think you have more. You can do more with it. Because it's not only, you know, with 2D animation, you can do cartoons and cartoon movies flat. But with 3D, it's not only animated shows. You can work on live action movies and do, for example, the voice. You can do the CG there. Advertisements, for the most part, they're like 3D logos. Video games, most of the video games are 3D. And we have phones, and we have the flat ones. But even those are going to 3D now. So
so you talk about phones, like talk about gaming on the phone?
Gaming, video games on the phone. So I remember when the iPod Touch came out, it was mostly 2D games. But now
you've came a long way, bro.
But now it's like Raid Shadow Legends, and like it's
like World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft, playing NBA Live, like it's just ask for it, you'll find it.
So I think there is a lot more opportunities in the 3D animation field.
Very interesting.
Yeah, definitely. So among your many achievements, which ones are you the most proud of, and why?
Probably.
Time to show.
I think my promotions. So I did, like I said, I started as an animator in my second year of college. I hadn't even finished my program, and then after that show, I did another one. So, and then shortly after that, they wanted me to promote me to supervisor. So when the second season of SE for Family came out, which was my third production that I worked on, I was supervising it all of a sudden. So it was pretty early. I was only like 21, 22. So I think that was big. I think I was like the first one in my class in my year that got promoted. So that was hard too, because not only was I now green in the management position, I also wanted to prove myself that I could do this right. So I definitely overworked myself there.
I'd imagine that you really have to prove yourself too.
And then after that, I went to director. I directed this series called Adam Ruins Everything.
Yes.
Yeah, it came out on True TV.
Okay, that's where we could find it.
Yeah.
Maybe we should check it out. One more time, what was it?
Adam Ruins Everything. So it was originally a live action show where he would talk about something that is, I guess everyone knows about it, it's common knowledge, but then he would say like, oh, this is, and actually how it goes, like it actually goes like this, and he would bring science and technical facts and explain, and I guess debunk common things.
Talking about your characters, like what is your favorite character to animate? Or that you've done before, right? Why?
I don't know if I have a favorite, but I think I can put them in a category. And I would say the simple, the more cartoony characters.
Yes.
And it's because the simpler it is, the more, I guess, cute it looks. Like I think like preschool shows when it's just like very simple. The more you can do with it, the more you can exaggerate that cartoon. If you have it a little more realistic, like anime, then you can only do so much, with it, unless you put a lot of hours into it. And so I think is the more cartoony ones that I like.
And bring me to a question actually. What's the difference between anime and a cartoon? I think a lot of people don't even know the official difference. Save them the Google research. Go ahead.
So I'd say both are cartoons. I think the difference between anime and cartoons is they stick to this specific style. And if you look at anime from the 90s, it hasn't evolved that much. Like right now we get a lot more, but it's relatively the same. Like big eyes, the little nose, the profiles that they have the mouth like this. It's I mean. And it stayed traditional for a long time. I think now I'm starting to see some hybrids of traditional and software. But they still do a good amount of traditional. I think
the anime genre. Whereas comic is a bit more open.
On cartoons?
Overall.
Well, on Western cartoons, you get everything. You get like something semi-realistic, like the old Scooby-Doo cartoons, then you have I don't know, Dexter's Lab or something like that. Yeah, it's completely different. You get a big range of
100%. Yeah, that's very good, man. It's very good you tell us this.
So, do you have any particular goals in your animation career that you're looking to achieve?
Yes.
As of now, I'm actually just trying to stay low because I think I got, with the experience that I got during my first year, I think I got to a point when I can actually just work my 40 hours and then relax after.
Right.
So I'm not trying to push myself as much as I used to, and I'm focusing on side projects, kind of exploring my own art. Because at the end of the day, you are still doing art for someone.
Yes.
The vision is someone
else's. You don't
else's.
own the art.
You don't own the art. Yeah. So I'm just trying to sketch on the side, and I'm thinking of taking a lateral step to do backgrounds.
Yeah.
So I stay in the same industry, but now do the backgrounds. So I get so closer to what I originally wanted to do, which was just drawing. Because when I animate, even if it's 2D, I don't get to draw too much because it's mostly software.
Yeah.
For the most part, you draw hands.
Yes.
So the way this works.
What do you mean hands? Like the focus is hands?
Well, so when you animate nowadays, it's a 2D software, and basically you have this puppet that has a bunch of separate pieces. Like you have like an arm that you can rotate like this,
right?
And then the hand is separate, so you can move it,
right?
Maybe the fingers might be separate too,
right?
The pupils, you gotta move them around. But that hand stays flat like that. Let's say you want it like this. You have to swap that cell and draw a new one.
Right. Right.
So I don't know if how do I explain it for someone who is just listening?
Go ahead, break down to us, man.
I just realized if someone is just listening to this, they might not understand. Yeah, so like I guess picture South Park. You know, everyone's seen South Park.
Yes.
You can see that it's just cut off pieces of paper.
Yeah.
That's how it originally started. Now it's software, but it originally started with pieces of paper. You take a picture from the top, you change it. It was like stop motion. So it's basically the same thing, except the pieces of paper are in the computer, and you move them around to animate. And then you take the picture in the software.
Amazing, amazing, amazing.
So for the most part, your character is already drawn for you. It's only special poses or more dynamic poses that you will have to draw.
Yeah, you'll actually have to draw by hand.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty interesting.
I know.
No, you're teaching so much, honestly. So NFTs have been an interesting part of the discussion lately on the internet.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't buy them at all.
Famous monkeys.
I don't know if there is something in it.
You know,
I don't even know too much about it, to be honest.
You know, everybody be having those display pictures with monkeys and stuff.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's worth a lot of money.
It
is worth a lot of money.
We're just wondering your thoughts on them.
I don't know. Last thing I heard about is that it could be good for money laundering and like.
This guy, you'll make ways.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, definitely, it is a new type of. Well, from what I understand, it's a new type of, like money value exchange, right?
Yeah, it's
so
like you
put
value into a symbol or like an illustration that is unique and that only you can have it unless you sell it. But I don't know.
I kind of tried it out with the NBA Top Shot. I kind of tried it out, bro. Yeah, I did try it out with NBA Top Shot. A little money, a little something, selling a few highlights, without Jason Tatum. But yeah, man, definitely, it's a new concept.
Yeah, I'm still a little unfamiliar about it.
Yeah, but you knew kind of what it was, right? And let me ask you this: what is animation to you, and how does it add to the movie going or cartoon experience?
Oh, it definitely adds to it because right now, whenever I watch an animated movie, it's more of from a critical standpoint because. I've never really been a fan of animated movies in general, but once I started learning in the craft, I kind of started appreciating the art. So now when I watch an animated movie, I just see what they did to the characters.
Put your animator hat on.
Yeah, exactly. And then just
enjoying more.
And then just appreciate the art more.
Right. So you still appreciate it?
Yeah, I still appreciate it. I still like it. I think I like drawing more. So that's I think that's what I'm gonna focus on. not necessarily animation. So sometimes I think, oh, maybe I should go for a tattoo apprenticeship and see where it leads. Because at the end of the day, I can always go back to this. I have enough years of experience that I can, and the demand is big, so I can always go back to it.
There's always going to be a demand for work, actually, right?
So, you have a resume, you got your promotions early. We're honored to have you, you know, we love excellence here.
What are your top 5 favorite animated films of all time? And
very good question.
I don't think I have one. I definitely don't have a list. To be honest, I'm more of a horror movie guy. And even and even then, I don't think I have. Well, I have a few movies that are in my tops, but if I was to stay with animated films, I think would be the Disney classics, like the traditional ones.
Yes.
Because that's when you get to see more of the mistakes, well, not the mistakes, like the raw, I don't know how to explain it.
The genesis of animation.
Yeah, because it's hand drawn. Right. It's hand drawn. Someone drew it in pencil, then someone else inked it, and then they took a picture. It wasn't software, right? So I think, especially looking at the early pencil tests. Before it was inked. So if you go on YouTube, just look animation pencil test, and then you'll get an idea of what I'm trying to say.
So you're basically paying homage
to
the OG cartoons, right?
Yeah. So
very wise.
As an OG, you don't have one favorite?
Let me see.
I guess there's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I can think of Lion King, that's already one.
Right?
Yeah, I think
Aladdin.
Yeah, Aladdin was pretty sick. 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah, there you go.
Classic. Pinocchio.
Yeah,
don't lie.
Peter Pan. Peter Pan was one too. No.
Yeah, it was one.
Yeah, it was one animated too. Peter Pan.
What else did he give us? Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, classic.
There's a lot.
So if you had to pick a favorite character of all time, which one would it be?
A character? Oh, that's hard. Can't think of one right now on top of my head, but earlier we were talking about Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. And I'm rocking the shirt. Of course, once again, showing you out from Goku's son, Goku, no pun intended.
So from there, I would say Piccolo. I just really like
Facts.
Piccolo's an OG. Piccolo's an OG certified. Hey, this nigga laughing. You know Piccolo's an OG certified. Shout out to Dragon Ball Z, fair use. Okay, if you had an opportunity to work with any animated, on any animated project, okay, which one would it be and why?
I would do anything as long as it's traditional.
Yeah?
As long as it's traditional and it's not anime, because I've heard, from what I've heard, like it's a lot of hours if you do anime shows.
Right.
So I'd say someone...
So it was an easy payout.
It's still hard. So for example, I think one of the latest traditional films that came out was Klaus. It's a Christmas movie. I think it was.
Yes. Is that Pixar? No, it wasn't Pixar.
I think so.
No.
I think
that's a few years. Was it this year?
A few years ago. It's fairly recent. I think
Tell
it's
us about that.
Still on Netflix.
So
yeah, they did it traditionally. Well, I don't think it like pencil on paper, but like they drew every single frame like it was in puppets, and then someone paint them after, shade them, and it kept this really nice and traditional look to it.
Right.
And there is some behind the scenes that you can look up, and still it has that essence that is not, you usually don't see it nowadays. Most of the movies are 3D now.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I'd say if I could work on something like that would be amazing.
100%.
Yeah, even if I'm just, revising things.
No, I totally believe you, bro. You talking about the behind the scenes. Must be something dear to you.
What is something what, sorry?
I said it must be something dear to you.
Right?
Oh yeah,
for
about
sure.
the behind the scenes.
Yeah.
100%.
If you could create your dream animated movie, what would it consist of?
It would probably be either some sort of comedy or some sort of horror movie, because I've never seen too much animated horror. It's mostly live action, so I would like to put my own take on that and see if I can actually make something scary and animated at the same time.
Right.
Yeah, that would be a pretty cool project, actually, when you really think about it. So definitely take that into consideration for real.
That would be a challenge.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, how can you make it scary where you're like actually frightened, like a rated R movie, right?
Yeah, or perhaps it could be something that is targeted for kids, but make them scared. Make it scary. Like,
not too many parents gonna like you're damaging my son psychologically.
Yeah, there were a few cartoons that I saw as a kid that scared me. So.
Right. Well, that would be a challenge. No, I like it. You're taking challenges, you know. Let me ask you: do you have any particular animator that you look up to, or any studio that has influenced you, you know, in your work in any way?
No, I don't think so. I think most of my influence and not so much looking up, but more like being inspired. I guess was my own colleagues in college, because it was we had a bit of a friendly competition because everyone was trying to get a job in the field. So you know, we were checking each other's work and you know, giving tips, giving criticism. Just keep it friendly, but also very competitive. You know, we were 10 hours every day.
Putting in that work.
Like, you know, sometimes till past midnight. You know, trying to get better and to improve as much as we could. So as hard as that was, it was very inspiring to see everyone working really hard and moving towards the same goal. I think that was very inspiring.
Do you find that art has become more of a sustainable income overall since you've been in the field?
Yeah, I think so. Especially in animation, there is lots of work, and like I said, it's not only making TV shows, which is mostly what I do. You can make motion graphics, little ads on YouTube. Like recently, I did like a little, you know, subscribe, hit the bell for, you know, and just on the side. So there is definitely, you can expand a lot. You can work in video games. The options are.
Has that ever been an interest to you, like working on video games overall?
No, not really. For whatever reason, no. I think I'd like to try it at some point. But if I do, it would be with my own little video game. I remember I started this video game with a friend of mine because he was a programmer. And I was just doing the designs, but it was on the side, and then we just stopped at some point and.
It takes a lot.
It takes a lot, especially after work. And at that time, I was in a really busy production. So right now, I could probably do it because I have more free time. But yeah, back then, I was way too busy at work.
Pretty cool, really interesting.
And what advice would you give aspirational advice? My French came out.
Aspiring?
Aspiring. What advice would you give aspiring animators I want to come up and make it?
I'd say that you totally can. Like you, as long as you put in the work, you can totally make it. There is definitely more than enough spots for new animators. You just have to have like a certain standard, and I'd say maybe I guess like if you know someone, you can, you know, ask them to criticize you. Maybe on like on YouTube, sometimes there's YouTubers who animate or illustrators. They criticize your work, but really,
you got criticized by YouTubers.
Like I've seen people doing this. Like, but you know, the YouTuber is like an artist or a teacher. You can even send your portfolio straight up to the studio. And then more often than not, they would say like, oh, you gotta work on this, you gotta work on that. So from there, you can get an idea of what you need to work on, what courses you may want to take. So it's more doable than you think. I'd say you just gotta put in the work.
With that being said, do you have any upcoming projects you're willing to share with us?
Upcoming projects. I think all I can say right now, because I have signed a lot of NDAs.
For sure. It's
okay. We don't want to see you in court.
So my full-time job right now is I'm doing a show for DreamWorks, and it's a 2D show. I think that's as far as I can say. And then I'm working on a couple things on the side. 2 music videos. One is almost out. And another one is probably gonna take me a while longer because I'm doing the whole thing from scratch. So maybe another year. So I think those would be the only projects. So 2 music videos. Two music videos.
Music videos for the show. That's pretty cool.
Amazing, Andres. Thanks for coming on the show, brother. It was an honor. It was an honor.
Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. And that's straight facts.
That is straight facts.